Yeah, thank you. It's more or less the same story as Matt's told about the SorteMuld, and it's actually I say my thoughts about SorteMuld that we didn't have so much Viking. I will turn up with this lecture to say I have to think about this, but. We start to show an old map where it's from the Viking period. It's around 890, where we can see Borgenderland. That's the first name we see Bornholms mentioned us, and we sure it is Bornholm, Borgenderland. But we also can see that that's the collaboration we have here is on a line. Actually, we have in the west. Aarhus, and then we have Lund and Bornholm and Gdansk. Can you see? It's actually to draw a line. I didn't really observe that before. So, but that was not just a coincidence that we collaborate. Bornholm is actually part of Scanialand. So it's very but lore and for centuries has been very close to Scania when Scania was Danish, and Bornholm is still, by a coincidence, still Danish, but it also have a story that is very similar to Uppåkra, and that's the story I will tell you here. So the next slide is this collaboration we have, and I have to apologize for Mats that Uppåkra is not mentioned here. And I don't know whether you're on so often. So, we have a Polish place near Krakow that is mentioned, but Uppåkra is not mentioned. But we are glad that we are a part in this Archibald project, and that we not only have one place, we have two places on Bornholm. I return to this, but. I will give a short presentation of SorteMuld, what we think it is now, and some of the finds from the excavation last year, where we have Aarhus students, a big group under the leading of Jens, and then we have Karoline and Patrick with a smaller group in September. But we also have students from Lund, actually. But one of them is a Bornholmer. So let's take the next, and that's to say what is SorteMuld known for. It's known for these thousands of Goober, and Karoline mentioned there were 2,600, but we're up to 2,800 now. So the figure it's just growing because they go with the metal detector, and they just had a new. We see technology with the high frequency detector that can locate these small gold figures, and the metal detectors they had before couldn't do that, but now we have the possibility to find new finds, and they find up to now we have more than 60 Goober for this season. You can see on this map that is called Guldhullet and Smøring, and that's the place that Karoline mentioned. That's if you took the center of Bornholm, is very close to the center, and SorteMuld is in the eastern corner near Svenike. Yeah, next picture. And SorteMuld is actually black. It's called the black soil, and it's visible when it's cultivated. You can see the black soil, but it's not the only place where we have the black soil, but this is the central part of the black soil. And SorteMuld is not this, it's a system of settlements that surrounds this black soil area you can see in the central part of the picture. So we take the next, and you can see there's SorteMuld is in the center, and we have some what we call settlements. We think it's we don't talk about villages on Bornholm, but if we should talk about a village, it is SorteMuld is a candidate. We discuss what it really is. But I think the question is very similar to what we see in Uboka, that we have a center, and then we have some, let's say, supporters. We have farmsteads that support this center. And what we have here on SorteMuld is an area that covers more than 1 square kilometer. But it's not all of this that is we say, built, because there's a lot of wet areas, a lot of areas that couldn't be habitated. But we actually also have an area that is wet and that is habitated. So it is a little bit different. But it's not, as we say, if you look at this habitated area, it's not as big as Uboka. Uboka is still Big Brother. We have to realize that SorteMuld, it's not that big as Uboka, but it has a very interesting structure, because when you compare it to Uboka, we say it's more like a black box. We have the topography that can tell us about the difference in how such a center was built up. And my what I pronounce is that SorteMuld is actually a gift for us. That we have a landscape that actually can tell us what this is about. Yeah, next. And here we can see on the LiDAR map the settlements area, and it is not all of it, because actually we haven't been on every square meter. We still, in collaboration with the volunteer archaeologists, try to cover this area. I have to say, we don't know every detail on this area. The problem is that it's so huge, and the most we say intensive investigation is on the central part. We still have a lot more to do to know in detail. Yeah. Next. Here we have we say this habitation, and it covers all we say periods from the pre-Roman until the Viking period, and you see how much it covers. And it's on the coastline. We have Svanike, the modern city of Svanike, and it just to show how huge an area it is. Yeah. And this is linked to say the explanation why we have a SorteMuld, why we have a center here, is the port of trades. It's the harbors, that is natural harbors, that is linked to this area on Bornholm, and that we also have the best soil where we know of Bornholm is in this area. So we can see that they have the agriculture could make an outcome, and that they could benefit from their geographical position in the Baltic to be a place that the traders could rest and have fresh water and have something to eat. And there we can see there's built up a center that has lasted for, I'd say, at least 1,000 years, but we believe it's actually much earlier. We may think, my idea is actually they go back to the Neolithic. Yeah. Here we can see a picture from Svanike, and in the background that is SorteMuld, and it's on the, could we say, background to the right. And there, if someone can see it, it's black, the black soils area. But the natural harbor, the most important harbor, is Wien. That's from the center, just the right from the center. There's a natural harbor, and we can see the roads go up there directly to the center. And most of this road still exists. So it's we call it the Bornholms Via Appia. Next. And but if you look at the topographic map, you can see that the red area is the highest level, and you can see that SorteMuld is can we say in a remote distance from the coast. Maybe someone could say in a safe distance from the coast. And it is a very high position. In the next picture, will show you the landscape. You can look down from the SorteMuld down to the coast. So it has a very, very dominant position, though it's not the highest position in the landscape. But it's I think they chose this position for for the central part of SorteMuld, where we have a temple that has to do with the sunrise, and it has to do that they could defend this place. Next. Here we have some phosphate, and the red color is this where we have the highest percent of phosphate, and the black is what Mats also showed on Upoka. It's the detector finds. So we can see that in the central part, they have a lot of metal detector finds there. But I have to say again, all the area is not completed. We could have improved, and we work with this to do it a better, could we say, detector search, because we know that's more, much more. This is the Roman period. We know that we have already in the pre-Roman, we can see that the start, but we can see we have a picture of a center in the Roman period, at least from around 200 AD. We can see that the center is there. And actually what we did in this spring is try to investigate some of the satellite settlements, and we can see that's a lot of late Roman Iron Age, a period from 200 to 300. We find them everywhere. So we have a center already in the Roman period, as you have in Upoka. And the Germanic, next, shows the same picture with the center and the satellites that surround the center. And in a Viking, less. But it doesn't mean that we don't have a center there. As I said in the beginning, I said when we have these written sources about Burgenderland, we didn't have any king at SorteMuld, because the written sources tell about that Bornholm has its own king. And I said, definitely he's not living on SorteMuld. And I think I had to maybe change that theory. And that's happened for archaeologists. Sometimes we have to change, and we have to realize, oh, maybe we're not 100% right. Next. Here we have our temple at SorteMuld. And what you can see is in the northern part, there's some lines, and it's an excavation done by Margrethe Watt in 1986 and 1987. And what I tried to do with the yellow, it's the two dots there, is to try to say that there could be a gate there, an entrance into the temple yard, and just outside the temple yard, 2,300 gold follies was found. So we know that it was not found, the gold, most of the gold there was not found in situ. And here is a picture showing again, and also we say the background is a map from the same people that did the geo radar at Upoka. We had the chance also to collaborate with Ludwig Boltzmann Institute in Vienna. And we do this because we know they are the best, and we I saw that when we were had the presentation of the images from Upoka, and I said we want these people to do at SorteMuld, and I collaborate with Imo Trinks and the leader Wolfgang Neubauer. Imo Trinks had a special interest in Bornholm because he's familiar with Bornholm. He's been here on vacation since he was 8 years old. So he was familiar with Bornholm, and they did a lot of could say mapping, and they covered 30 hectares. They have the interpretation here of the temple area that is in the center. And we can see that the gold Goober that Margrethe Watt excavated is outside the temple. But that's also the results from excavation. You could see that they were there originally. They were always thrown out from the temple. But what's special here on SorteMuld is that we also have what I call a temple yard. It is surrounded by a fence. And it is. I don't seen this on other places, that we have such a clear fence with what I call a western and an eastern foreyard, and definitely in the south we can see there's an entrance. But we also have other buildings. That's buildings I compared again with Upoka, and I call them the King's Hall. That is on the southern side of the temple. But we also have other large houses, and you see them in the bottom of this picture. And one of the volunteer most known, Klaus Thorsen, just gave me a print where he found his last gold, and it was found in these long houses. This is from the migration period. So we had problem to date these buildings, the long buildings in the southern part of this picture. But now we think that this is Germanic Iron Age as well. Yeah, next. And we find gold Goober, every time we go there at SorteMuld, there is new, and it's up to 60 this season. Next. Here, what is interesting is that that we find them just south of the old excavation from 1986 to 87. What I call the temple building. And it's the temple building is with white dots, and the temple yard is also with white dots. And you can see there's a grid, and it's excavation to the right. It's from Jensen's excavation. And in the middle, it's from the Gdansk and Bornholms museums excavation. And the orange dot is gold Goober that was found by the water sieving. And this is the picture of the full picture of the area that Ludwig Boltzmann Institute, they have covered. And it's covered most of the central. We still missing a small triangle in the northern part, but then we have all the central part of SorteMuld is covered. And the picture that shows us is that there is defense systems around the temple area. We have not only one, we have two systems. One around what we call the temple area, and then a larger around. The problem with this is what is contemporary. We don't know that yet. And that's what we hope that we can have some help from the cultural heritage to investigate here in August, September. And I applied. I'm still waiting for an answer to say, will they give us the money so we can see and try to date the images that we have here on the GeoRadar. The GeoRadar gives us, like at Upoka, as an archaeologist, a totally new, I would call it revolutionary picture to see what is underground, what is in the earth, because they can measure down to 1.5 meters. They could probably easily go deeper, but at SorteMuld we don't have to go deeper than 1.2 meters, because that's the thickness of the layer. But what we can see here and what we can observe by doing the field walking here, because we made a new field survey here covering some 4 hectare area. We can see that the SorteMuld, the black soil area, is not covering a very big area. It's very concentrated to the central part where we have the temple building. And it also shows us that we can see that there is a knot, what we could call, someone talked about a pre-town, some kind of central place built up here. We can see there is, but we don't have many buildings. The most of the area here is actually a few buildings, and then the temple. But the surrounding areas with satellite settlements, that's building the pre-town area. So that's what the links are. But what's surprising for me, that we didn't have that many building in the central part. Yeah, and here is the first suggestions from Vienna group, Ludwig Boltzmann, and to show this with the yellow is the surrounding fortification. In the building there's a black line, I think it's black, that's surrounding the temple area. So there's a double system. And then to the left from the center, we can see there's some, I think it's more brown areas. That's a settlement area, the black soil area that is linked to the satellite settlements. Yeah. Why claim it's a king's place? It's some of the Goober, and it actually is only one where we can see that he has a crown. He has long hair. We know that from the Merovingia, the written sources, that the nobles, the kings, they were long hair. So that was a part of their, signature, that they could be they could be seen with a long hair. It could be identified as nobles. Yeah, and we also have this ring, and it's being brought on the sword. That it's for a bodyguard. The king's bodyguard got such a ring, and we found one of them in gold from here on SorteMuld. And here we have the warrior, and he is a little bit scary, but he doesn't have a ring on his sword, so he probably is not a kingsman, but he's a warrior, definitely. Next. What we did in 2019 is that we excavated the blue area. We have with the green, because we had planned that we should next week we should start with the excavation, and Jens and his students were meant to link the blue areas and uncover a part of the northeastern part of the temple area. So we have to wait to 2021 to do that. But I would just to show you some of the finds that we did in last year, 2019. So they comes here with a lot of glass from and glass beads. Yeah, we just continue. Amber, bones, and a horse. Colleen showed that before. So, and what the reason why we did and find so much is that we water seeped every we say every square meter, and this was the outcome of the gold volleys. But we also found some special import, and this is what we call terra nigra. We know that from the Roman it's terra sigillata, it's red, but we also have a Roman ware that is black, and it's called terra nigra. I don't think that we have many of this in Scandinavia. But then the last thing is that we also found Baltic ware, and that's the finds for that. Matt says we were working on Baltic ware, and did his doctor on that. But we found that at SorteMuld, and that gives me the chance to say maybe I was a little bit wrong to say we didn't have any Vikings there at the temple area. We have Baltic ware in the central part. The last new finds is this. We think maybe it's the same question we have on before, Mats, when you were talking about this. It's not glass, it's not amber, it's the stone, and we think maybe it could be a part of a bird's eye, maybe a feeble eye. We don't know. This is so small piece. Next, this is a very special. I haven't seen that before. Just new finds. Gold. Next, and this is the last from the Langhouse, south from the temple area that Klaus just found. And this is the finds from Saturday. They go there every weekend. They will also go there on Saturday, and probably the last chance they have before the crop. But SorteMuld is also special, we'll say, with special finds. This is a golden necklet, and this is found not exactly at SorteMuld, but next to one of the what it could be called one of the satellites. But this is with the red area. We have the temple area, and this is where we plan to continue in 2021. And we have here built up with the blue also a parking place with the exhibition, a place where the visitors could meet the archaeologists. And in the first 4 weeks in June 2019, it was Jens's student that came there and met the public and followed them up to, or sent them up to the temple area they had also, we had some podcasts on station that was built up. So some of them anyway, because there were too many, so not everyone could have to listen to a podcast, but they were sent up to the center where other students took care of the visitors. And I know, Jens, it was a great success. They were so pleased about the way your students took care of them. And what is the intention with the SorteMuld? We have planned to maybe to do something on the place. Anyway, we will save it. It will not be cultivated again. We will try to build something up there, but we will not, of course, we will not build a temple there, but maybe we will build up a virtual temple. And but I think that will let that be to my successors. As I said, I'm a dinosaur, but I also can see the possibilities of what the new technology can make, and it's possible that we can build up something for the public, and definitely there's a big demand, to say, from the local people that we should treat this as a sacred place and build this as a place to visit, and we work with this, and we work together with the landowner to do something about this that makes it real. But the first step could be, we have the book here. There's an English version. It's from 2009, and maybe the first step would be to build up or make a new publication in English about the status of SorteMuld today. So I think that would be the first step from here. Thank you.